Good morning. It is 7:15 a.m. on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022. I'm Christiana Ellis, and my hair is doing this today. This is 5 more minutes. And just the microphone stand a little bit here. Yeah, today just something about how I had my hair tied back yesterday is just giving me volume. Whoop, sorry. Probably making microphone noises there. I'm still kind of sleepy. I did okay. I did a little better last night at not staying up too late. Sorry, I'm just... wow, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of like spaced this morning. I am still playing Wordle. And in fact, I've gotten like several days in a row now where I've guessed it in 3, which feels pretty good. And I'm also like inspired by that. I had actually already had a subscription to the New York Times crossword puzzle app, which I hadn't actually been playing much recently, but I've kind of started that back up again. And if you're not familiar, that app has a little mini crossword that for every day. Those are usually pretty easy to the point where it's kind of like you regularly solve them in less than a minute, like that size. But then you also have the daily actual crossword, and they start easiest on Monday and then kind of get harder over the course of the week. And I'm pretty reliably solving them like up through Wednesday without having to look much up, and then trying to get to where I can this Thursday and Friday will get them solved, but usually have to look up some clues there. And there was a while where I really resisted the idea of looking up certain clues when I was stuck, but then again, it's there's a challenge to it where you don't want to necessarily look stuff up, but at the same time, if part of what I want is to get better at crossword puzzles, then just beating my head against the wall until I get frustrated and then stopping, that doesn't make me better at crossword puzzles. Inspiring me to look up some word that I was unfamiliar with, or some little bit of trivia that I didn't know before. It's like every time I look up a hint for a crossword, I learn something. And it might be a trivial thing. It might be something I knew already and just say, oh, right, but still. And it actually reminds me a little bit, because you knew it was coming, tied back to Elden Ring. It's interesting in those games how much of the culture around it seems devoted to the idea that it is not merely acceptable, but expected that you're going to look up strategies and details and stuff about certain quest lines or where to find certain items and that sort of thing, which I think is really interesting, given that in many respects you sometimes hear almost the opposite with fans of those games, where they say, yeah, it's hard, you just need to get good. And it's like, well, okay, there are definitely people like that. I'm not trying to say they're not. But it's interesting, I think, that in many cases, the idea that, oh, I found a way where if you stand in a certain spot, this boss can't hit you and you can just spam spells at them. Like, that is not, people don't hear that and say, oh man, you cheated. They're saying like, oh, that's awesome. How can I do it? Where's the spot? Right? And even though generally it's considered good etiquette to keep it behind spoiler warnings in case people want. So like lots of times what people want is to experience an enemy or something going in blind the first time, but then once they've tried and failed to beat it a couple of times, then they want to hear the strategies. And I think that's interesting. But yeah, I also spent I spent a fair amount of time yesterday completely revamping something that I was going to do in my Dungeons and Dragons game and the So Many Levels campaign. I had one plan for what was going to happen next, and then I changed that plan, and I'm excited about the new stuff, and hopefully that'll go well. So we'll see. But in the meantime, I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.